So today is International Day for Biological Diversity, and hey, we all rely on the natural world because our societies and our economies depend on it. But we have to understand also that nature is in trouble. That climate crisis, the crisis of biodiversity and nature loss, and the crisis of pollution and waste, what we call the triple planetary crisis here at UNEP, is really pushing humanity's relationship with nature to a breaking point. But there is hope. Environmental multilateralism is blooming for nature and for people. In February, the 6th United Nations Environment Assembly, or UNEA 6, adopted resolutions that will support a healthy nature, from the management of metals and minerals and chemicals and waste to restoring land. And this October, COP16 of the Convention of Biological Diversity will assess progress on the Kunming-Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework, which we agreed in November of 2022, and that's also sometimes referred to as the World's Biodiversity Plan. That biodiversity plan is a blueprint for a healthy nature and for biodiversity. Now, Colombia, the president of COP16, fittingly chose peace with nature as a theme of COP16. To implement the 23 targets of the biodiversity plan, finance will be central. And today, $7 trillion is invested every year in activities that actually harm nature. Meanwhile, support for the conservation and sustainable use of nature is less than the $200 billion each year that the plan calls for. So we must repurpose harmful subsidies in a way that protects the poor and the vulnerable. And we have to align public and private finance with nature. And we must increase transfer between developed and developing countries to the 20 billion by next year that we promised. On top of finance, a whole of government and a whole of society approach to implementation will be crucial. Everyone has a role to play. So, on this International Day for Biological Diversity, I ask you to be part of the plan.